Welcome back. Okay, this is our last go at the typewriter program. You'll remember I said there's still two things I wanted. I want a backspace. Now, we're not trying to reinvent the word processor here, we're trying to recreate the typewriter experience. So I thought back to when I was very young. And what we used to do, if you see that you made a mistake, you backspace a few times and type some big X's over it. Oops, sorry, wrong program. Here, this is the one we want. And you see, even Isaac Asimov did that right there. So I fooled around with trying to print a space over the letter I just deleted and decided against it. It was too much trouble. Now the underlying letter kept shining through, so I'm just going to. But I also want what I type not to be completely lost. I want this to be a useful program, even if it all ends up in the same file. So I want to save what I do to a file. And apart from that, I did a bit of general cleaning up. So what else? Oh yes, I've decided against putting in a dark mode. It's easy enough. You just switch the background and foreground colors. So if you want to do that on your own, be my guest. So what have we got now? Let me show you. Right. Oops. But now I'm going to get called away. I have to stop. I have to go do something else. Okay, let's just close this down. No, we're just going to quit. Right, I come back, get the annoying startup sound again. And I just keep on typing. Now, I don't want the stuff that I've X'd out to appear in my final file, do I? So, it isn't. Let's close it down. Okay. And there you are. And all the stuff that I've X'd out does not appear in the final file. And now you can, put it in the clipboard. You can do whatever you want. Oh, I made a mistake there. There we go. And another one there. So you see, this is now a useful program because I can use it like a little sticky note. Just start it up, type something, and it'll all end up in this file. And when I can put it in other programs, I can do whatever I like with it. I can even delete it and have a clean file the next time. Okay, so shall we have a look at the code? So, the first thing I did, remember I said I can't be bound to having this thing in a specific location. So instead, I used the Haiku query system to look for it. Now, I happen to have two versions of this on my system. So this piece of code here, that selects the first one that query finds. If there's a line feed in this variable here, in other words, there's more than one line, then cut it down to the left of the string to where that line feed is, -1. And so it gives me just the first one that it found. Right, so this is the same. Now, the next thing, I have an output file. Okay, great. I need to make sure that it exists. Otherwise, further down in the program, my thing's going to crash, file not found. So, what I do there, first I create a variable, output file string, and this is where I've chosen to put it. In settings, that's where we put all the stuff we don't want to see. Right? And then I quickly open that files for appending. And then I close it again. Now, there's a difference between opening a file for writing and for appending. When you open a file for writing, if the file already exists, it wipes it out and starts a new one. But if you open it for appending, then it says, okay, I'm going to leave whatever is there and we're going to take it from here. Then I've created one further variable, global. I tried to make it local, but that didn't work out. And that is line, and we set it here to an empty. And that is the line I am typing right now. Right. Then we'll get back to that, but then here we've got in type key a static variable. Now you know that a local variable only is active in its subroutine, right? We've gone through that. But a static variable is a kind of local variable that keeps its value. So where a local variable gets wiped out when you leave the subroutine, and the next time you call the subroutine, it gets reset to 0 or empty, depending if it's a number or a string. Sorry about the dog. A static variable maintains that value that you've assigned to it, even when you exit the subroutine. So that is really very, very useful. So here, if K-string, remember the key that we pressed, is backspace or delete. and I've made it backspace or delete because I don't know what kind of weird keyboard setup you have. Yeah, there are keyboards that have only a backspace key. There are keyboards that only have a delete key. So let's just have it either way. Then, first of all, we check that we're not right on the left edge. Right, so offset X is bigger than 5 because it goes up by 10 every time. So it's 10. It's 5, 15, 25, 35. If I am already at the left edge, then I don't want to go back up because that's not how typewriters work. Well, technically you could roll them back, but that was never very accurate. Then if that is the case, we say old offset X is minus 10. In other words, we go a space back. And then we print a big capital X over it. Right? Then the lines variable we want to take out because I don't want those X'd out things to appear in my final output file. And so we take it 1 from the end. So it's the length of lines. If say there's 8 characters in it, then we take it back. And so you can do this several times, but since I use old offset X, not offset X, when you restart typing with your normal A, B, C, D, E, then it will start typing at the old, what shall we call it, cursor point. Right, then if length of case strings is 1, in other words, it's a regular key, A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3, etc. So we've got a few things here. Draw text, that's the same. And then offset X is offset X plus 10. But here we've added old offset X equals offset X. In other words, we now set it equal again. Ready for the next backspace. Right, and here lines is whatever was in lines plus the new key. Right, then where is this now? Ah, here we are. If I press the enter key, then we go to the new subroutine print line. Print line is not very long. It just opens the files, print the variable lines to it, set lines to 0 because we're now starting a new one, and then close the file again. And closing the file is one of the things that you have to get right. So basically keep your files closed as long as possible. Only open them when you really need to print something or get information out of them. And then immediately close them again. Right, and then the final thing that we do here, we're now out of the main loop, we're exiting the program. But what if I typed a line and I didn't hit enter at the end? Right? So if line string is unequal to empty, In other words, there's something in it, print line. In other words, go down here again. Then we say alert, and we ask the user, do you want to have a quick look at this file that you've just filled up with stuff? And the options are okay or no, just quit. And there's no icon in it. Right, there's no third button either. The default button will be no, just quit. So you can just mash the enter key and you'll be fine. If open it equals 1, in other words, somebody pressed the OK button, then system call open output files. So that will then open that output file into your default text editor. Okay, so I am now happy with this program. I don't think I'm going to fiddle with it any further. As I've said, I'm decided not to do a dark mode in it. But if you want to, then it's, here it is, right at the bottom. Just switch these around and you'll have your dark mode. But I said, that's not typewriter-ish. Yeah, what else could you do? You could say, oh, I want to be able to see the output file anytime I want. But then you'd have to give the user some way of doing that, right? So either now you have to put in a menu, or you have to put in a hotkey, and then you'd have to give some visual indication of where that what that hotkey is and what it does. So I thought, no, let's just be purist about it, and let's. Now there are other things. For instance, you could put a graphic of an actual piece of paper, on the background. That would be cool. You could, what else? You could make it so that every time you hit enter, the window grows down another line until it hits the bottom of the screen. So yeah, there are still things you could do to make it look good. But we've spent enough time on this program now, and yeah, I'm happy with it. It's a useful little thing for me now. I can live with this. Okay, so I haven't decided what we'll do next, but I hope you're still enjoying this channel. Thanks for watching. Okay, this is just a quick appendix. I decided I like this little program now, and I'm going to keep it. I want to use it, and I want to use it from the desk bar. So I loaded it up into the YAB IDE and compiled it in Build Factory, because why not? And I'll put up a screenshot of that happening. Then I created these directories because I don't want to put it in an H package, just for me, you know. And I have to put it somewhere, so I put it in a non-packaged hierarchy. You probably have to create these directories. Same here. Non-packaged, data, deskbar, menu, desktop applets. So, having put them there, it is now available right there. And so you can see that these programs can actually be useful little things, and you can fix them. You can see I've made mine single launch, because you don't have two typewriters going simultaneously. That would be silly. So I only have one typewriter going on at a time. I could have put on an icon, but I don't have my icon collections on this particular system, so, well, it would have looked nicer if I had a little typewriter icon there. Okay, that's it for real this time.